Hi. Hello. My name is Michael Henderson. I was going to say lead designer, but I'm the only designer on Gossamer Frontier. It is a sci-fantasy solo TTRPG meant for nerds like myself who enjoy Mass Effect and Baldur's Gate 3, uh, Dragon Age Inquisition in particular. And it puts you in the role of a captain on a starship who you have a special ship that's like capable of moving a lot faster than other ships, and you'll be jumping from place to place, trying to help your people, save them from an existential threat, and all the while building relationships with your crew members. So you recruit them, you earn their trust, and then potentially engage in a romantic relationship with them. And it has, if you enjoy games like Mass Effect, that's the vibe that it's going for, and doing it in solo TTRPG form. So if you are into that sort of thing, Gossamer Frontier might be up your alley. And yeah, if you just want to hang out and chat, we're going to be doing that for about the next hour, probably a little bit less. I don't have too much to talk about, but if there are any questions about the game in chat, please feel free to drop me a line, and I'll almost be paying attention to it. Almost. Alrighty. So a little bit of background on myself. I have been in the video games industry for almost 10 years. Let's see. There was 7 on as the lead designer on PlanetSide 2, and 1 here at Amazon recently before the whole project got scuttled, and then in between that doing some indie ventures. But in between that, during my indie ventures, a lot of time was spent building TTRPGs like this one. The first project was on BackerKit. It was the first thing that I've ever crowdfunded, the first TTRPG that I've ever published, and it's a game called Distal. Many folks who might be looking at this project have been supporting it, and were also longtime supporters of my YouTube channel. Very helpful, very generous folks who helped just kind of bring that TTRPG to its fruition. And that one is massive. It's 294-ish pages. It is a full system, D20 based. It is a game that focuses on hardships, not heroes. It was meant to solve some of my personal grievances with Dungeons and Dragons, and I think did a pretty good job doing it. If you want to check it out, you can go to Distal RPG or playdisrpg.com, but that's neither here nor there. With that being the case, I love creating things. The act of creation is the thing that allows me to wake up in the morning and feel good about being a human being. I like to make things to share with other people, and if I'm not doing that, it feels like there's something wrong. And creating Gossamer Frontier and creating Distal is really an effort to keep pushing to create things, despite all the gravities of life. So needing to make a living wage, needing to feed your family, that sort of thing. I want to be able to create in spite of that, and not get crushed by the corporate machine. But it is what it is. With that being the case, let me take you through the campaign a little bit. This is going to be rambly. If you got the audio going in the background, that's just kind of the way that I do things, especially at the last second here. Give me just a moment to do some looking around. Bradley says, "Hey, looking forward to how this grows and evolves. Love Distal in your preview novel chapters." Oh, hey, thanks. Oh, what's up? Yeah. So I'm also working on a romantasy novel, and that is that'll be. I need to return to that project. Was I was doing very good. I was like blazing through it, about a little bit more than a third of the way through the book, and then got distracted by corporate life. But we'll get back to it for sure. Maybe we'll be able to get that into Booktopia later this year. All right, so what else we got going on? The campaign. So is anybody who is watching the stream might be aware is is this gonna work? Yeah. So Zenetopia is currently an event that is taking place right now on BackerKit. You got a lot of really cool looking small form TTRPGs. That's, I think most of them are TTRPGs. Some of them are like, this is a subclass for D&D. There are a lot of projects going on. I think we're in the realm of like 65 or 67, 75, something like that. I think where it ended up. So if you have a chance, if you want to support indie developers, please feel free to take a look at some of the other stuff that that's going on down here. Yeah, and this is on just backerkit.com. So if we go to mine though, so Gossamer Frontier, we'll check out this this page in full, and I think I'll be able to share it without. I don't know what's going on. It's crazy. Can I share more of the page? Maybe, possibly. Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. Hold on. There we go. Let's talk through this. So if you are back within the first 24 hours, or 48 hours, excuse me, there is an enamel lapel pin. I've never done one of those before. It's kind of cool. The original concept was actually something that was a little bit closer to the Gossamer Frontier logo, but I would had to have gotten that done offset print, and frankly, they don't look as cool and don't feel as nice as a like a hard enamel pin. I think I'm gonna go with hard enamel on this. The design might change, but if you're returning backers, if you back distal, you can also if you back a physical of Gossamer Frontier, get you a little sticker of a character that I'm calling the captain. The art was done by Gray Herb. He is awesome, very easy to work with. Did the vast majority of the work on distal, and I just dig his art style. Actually, I'll show you the cover real quick. So this is a mock-up of the okay, well, it's gonna be problematic if I try to show it to you like that. So this is a mock-up that I threw together the cover, but you can see that the art itself was it's meant to be more textured, more abstract, not like this is a character, but this is a concept, right? It's a character, but it's also representative and symbolic of everything else that's going on. So I think it'll look really good once it's done. But let's talk a bit about the game itself. So the feeling, you can go through the campaign and do that. So and I urge you to just kind of read through what's going on there. But I will also kind of give you a little bit of commentary and the thought process behind building this game and the aspects that I'm trying to focus on, some more than others. For example, this is, so the main gameplay loop is to, you have a crew, you have access to a ship, and then you are taking on different tasks and assignments in order to circumvent a greater campaign that is being levied against you and the people that you represent. So you are Elder Blood, which is the kind of encompassing category of anybody who is not human. So you're talking about Naiad, and so the playable lineages, playable species would be Naiad, Weaver, which are like if you played Destiny 2, I would they got like Elixni vibes going on. The Paka, which are trolls essentially. The Huntsmen, which are lycanthropes. So it's somebody who probably was human, but also got bit, or just somehow got this contagion of lycanthropy, and because of that, stigma follows you around. You have the Forebear, which are these like the oldest beings when the universe began, built of clay and stardust. They they have no permanent form. They're searching for like their form, but tend to be humanoid because of how they interact with other people. Um, and then what was the one that I missed? The Arthura or the Authora, which are like humans of legend, the closest that you'll get to demigods. They've got kind of a like a Highlander situation going. Originally, they were like, okay, the fewer of them exist, then the stronger that the Author become, which might still be the case, but I'm kind of going back and forth between a couple of lore options. One is that I think that just as their stories are disappearing over the ages, they as a species are becoming weaker. So less of the powerful heroic figures that they used to be because their heritage is being lost. And some of those concepts are kind of riddled throughout the world of Gossamer Frontier. Is this constant struggle to observe old ways, and but it's being replaced by new concepts, just the ever increasing speed of technology, and just your place in the world kind of being viewed as other than. So as humanity rises, this is like a tale as old as time. As humanity rises, they push the elder blood to like the outskirts, and you are like a marginalized people, or becoming a marginalized people, and it's part of your role to kind of fight against the grains of society, such as they are. Oh right, but playing the game. So you're going through. You move scene by scene. So you have a task. You have the jurisdiction to choose like what you want to do. We're not hitting you necessarily with a bunch of like random encounters like, okay, one day and this is what happens to you. It is more like, this is the thing that I want to do, and then what twist occurs. So if I want to locate somebody, because my assignment, my greater mission is to track down like a shipyard that is constructing the fleet that they're sending to just building up their armada and destroying everything. Then you would take a task, or make a task to locate that shipyard, and it might be due to talking to a data broker, or even talking to people that or just happenstance, like being connected with somebody who is aware of where this thing is. So you're actually a part of an organization called Opera, and Opera give you they're the ones that are kind of guiding your story, giving you intel so that you know kind of where to go, and then it's up to you to do the groundwork, and that's where your ship comes in, where your crew comes in, and they all have special things that they're good at, and personalities, and in different aspects of their character, like baggage that follows them that you're hopefully trying to find time to rectify so that you can build loyalty with them. And then if a romantic relationship is involved, that's built up as well. Did I answer any of my own questions? Okay, let's talk about romance. So the bulk of the book is done via scenes, but also there's dialogue. I don't want to call it branching dialogue, because it is dialogue that you get multiple options, and those options give you odds and ends that are then used to we have resources. Resources are the main currency of play, and they're usually abstract phrases that represent like an approach to a problem, or like your problem solving approach rather. And then you spend those to create an interesting scene, and then the scene, how that scene is resolved. I got off track. So how you choose to resolve that scene is going to matter when it comes to relationships, loyalty, romance, that sort of thing. So you're essentially the main forward movement as you gain new or like become increasingly interested in a crewmate, or vice versa, is that you unlock scenes with them that are typically dialogue, but also have emotions attached to it, and that sort of thing. And you'll learn more about the character, and you'll be able to choose like how you want to keep moving, or keep pursuing things moving forward, and or if you do at all. And that's basically where it goes. The whole zine is 60 pages. So the interesting challenge that I have currently is that I'm trying to pack a lot of game into a very small page count, and that's so it's like zine size and is able to be stapled, soft cover, yada yada. But man, this game could do with a higher page count, and that is the push and pull that I've had when designing it. Is that for Zinetopia, we're trying to do something small, but this game can be sprawling. So I'm picking and choosing exactly what goes into it, so that you can have an experience that feels compelling, that is exciting, that isn't necessarily something that you'll want to play many times over. There are different choices. You can obviously do different things, and the campaign the outcomes are different based on what you're doing. But it isn't procedurally generated in the same way that a larger game would be procedurally generated. And that's one of those things that I would really like to do a small expansion for, and just give it out for free or whatever, if I had time to do it, where you can sit down, build everything up via tables, including new crewmates and worlds and that sort of thing potentially. But certainly the campaign and the crewmates, so that you can play the game in perpetuity and kind of continue your story and build things out. But that lives outside of the zine. So that's something that I'm trying to figure out how much I can do. But what's on offer are the physical zine. So you have 60-page guidebook. This is the full game, and you're going to be writing inside of the guidebook as well. You don't have to, but we give you space for it because it is intended that there's a whole prologue set up that teaches you how to play the game, and it's a kind of doing by learning, or learning by doing is something that I'm a big fan of. But there is also a captain's log you can have, where it's a Wrel notebook. It has a bunch of entries that give you space to do captain's logs. So at the end of a day, you do a captain's log. It's where you recap everything. It's where you add some texture to the world. But it is not so journal focused that you're not playing something like Corico. Corico is very great game, very journal intensive. That's like the whole thing. This game has more structure, so you're doing more rolling. It's not like 50 parsecs. Is that the game? That is way more mechanically intensive. This is somewhere in between, and I hope that it's a good entry point for people who are getting into solo TTRPGs as a genre, to kind of dip their toes in, because there are many different. There's a wide spectrum of what constitutes a solo TTRPG, and you can go way to the journaling side, or you can go way to the mechanical side. Something like Ironsworn. But I think that for this game, I'm trying to hit something in between, so it's not just making up your own fan fiction at the direction of prompts. It is weird. You're kind of fleshing out the world through the actions that you've taken, and these mechanical surprises and unintended consequences and that sort of thing, of the things that happen to you. That's very vague, but we'll move on. The lapel pin, you can get this as an add-on if you want. Digital categories, $10 for the PDF, 18 for the physical. Captain's edition, which is just all the things, is 32. And that is it. Not doing any crazy stretch goals for this campaign. Trying to keep it very tight. I want to get this product out the door by the digital version, probably by the end of summer, and then the hardcovers, the physical editions out at the end of Q3. I think would be like the latest, and they should be very easy to print, very easy to ship, and it should also be like a lot of fun. So that's the game. That was super rambly. Hopefully got something of value out of it. And I am under for time by about like 30 minutes. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to do that. We are, I wanted to talk a little bit because I thought it'd be fun to talk a little bit about the art. Do that, talk about the art. I'll give you just a moment. I totally have not been paying attention to chat. Barth says, I know the feeling, need to get content up for my homebrew channel. Yep, for sure. Let's see. Vortec Games says, I back this now as the first backer. Just, hey, thank you. Thank you, Vortec. Hi, Henry. This is geometric shapes that are also a character. Yeah, exactly. That's the art. I want to see all the art. Okay, cool, Henry. Let's do it. Brian R. James. Hey, what's up, dude? Don't have a lot of experience with solo RPGs. Excited to check it out. Well, hopefully I do not disappoint, and hopefully you're doing well. Nice to see you. Okay, let's see if I can try not to blow up my. Just trying really hard not to dox myself. It's like always something that I struggle with. Hey, do you want to show everybody your personal information live on stream? Yeah, just do that. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about the art. I'll go into the desktop here, and then I'll also put my face up on the screen. Okay, and then I'll move it as needed. So let's talk about art. So the art was contracted out to Grey Herb, like I mentioned. I'm hoping to not fill the book. It's like a handful of art pieces. I'm hoping for like one art piece every 10 pages is like my goal. But we'll have to see how it shakes out. But in doing the cover art, I wanted to make sure that it was hitting the vibes that I wanted to hit for the game. So when you're contracting art out, you build a design brief. So you send an email saying like, okay, here are the themes. This is the piece. This is what I'm thinking about it. Here are the things that I'm trying to avoid. Here's the you can give people a little bit about the world so they know why they're building the piece, and then also like, okay, this is the format that I need it in, and this resolution and that sort of thing. So I sent all that off to Gray, and I also accompany it with a ref board. So that's what you're looking at now. The ref board is it's a collection of pictures that you think can help inspire the artist and give them an idea of what you're thinking. I inspired to the end that you get your point across. So one thing that I was thinking of is these silhouettes and negative space. I didn't want to do like a very like a super complex illustration, and wanted to rely a lot on abstract sort of texture work. So this sort of stuff, see how everything has these like underlying brush strokes upon them, and kind of these textures that like they don't need to be there. They're there because it feels right, I love this little stuff in here too. So anyway, just like very textured stuff. I'm not trying to sell you a character necessarily, though it did end up getting to that point. Like I said, Grid is awesome. Focus on mystic, dark fantasy, interspersed with brilliant colors. And I made some errors here. I was pointing to this corpo aesthetic, and this is from Dishonored 2. This would be the John Shepherd of my game, I think, if you weren't going the route of the more witchy focused stuff. But there's the clash is meant to be like, okay, corpo versus this old ways sort of contrast. And then I pointed out some like geometric lines. This is from Destiny 2. I really like this sort of like script that's around these things, gives it an arcane sort of feeling. So when we think of like compass, like a compass rose, the between those lines on the compass could be the script that kind of helps sell the world, because this is not normal space. Like, you're not traveling from point A to point B. It is you're going through this extraplanar situation called the Gossamer to get from one place to another, and that's part of the reason why that you're able to move faster than everybody else. Some other ideas, this again from Destiny 2, just because Destiny is killer, and this is was part of its dark phase, and then some stuff like this. These are alternatives. If what we were kind of envisioning didn't work out, this is a direction that you can go. So Gray takes all that information on board, like, okay, roger that. Here's what I'm thinking. So the next step, throw some sketches out. Boom, boom, boom. He did this super quick and was able to... sorry, just a moment. What am I doing? Okay. Yeah, so he was able to knock out these, like a bunch of ideas, sketch these out to give me feelings and compositional thoughts. So I knew that we were going to need a place to put the title, and so something like this probably ruled out. You could change the composition, so leave the moon high, change the thing, make it point a different direction, kind of rotate some things around. That would have been workable too. This is we can make this arcane, but it's also not personal. And when I think about Mass Effect 2, I think about that main screen when you have just the crew's faces and that sort of thing. And I didn't think that we'd be able to get there, so I just wanted to focus on one character at most. We also didn't have an identity for the ship itself that you're using, and I think it made sense not to focus on that. So this was kind of cool, but the hard lines and this sort of cyber tech aesthetic wasn't really feeling it. And this one I thought was cleaner, and I was really a fan of these two. So this is kind of where we ended up to start. And at this point, I'll say, like, okay, I like this one. Not a fan of X, Y, and Z. Would like to see more of this incorporated, less of that incorporated. Like, that's the feedback that you offer. So to focus on this one here, so if you remember it, I'm going to change page. Boom. So this is the feedback that I sent over, was just some ideas. And I tend to do this. I'll clip something out and then scribble on it in red with just the clipping tool. And then I push and pull some stuff too. So I was thinking, like, okay, for the helmet, instead of the this very Destiny 2 sort of design, like, how can we make it feel more witchy? Can we make it feel like a witch's hat, but sci-fi? And so pulled some of these elements out and kind of gave it this, gave him an idea. And then I sent an email and talked about this. It was like, okay, can we incorporate like an earring to let you know that there's a person underneath here? Can we incorporate some like ritual scrawl along the compass rose, and then send that feedback back and say, along with these are the things that I like, these are the things that I think we can change. And then he just straight up was like, yeah, texture everything. Oh, I also mentioned these streaks here were really cool from one of the earlier pieces here. Like, I like the idea of threads. I like the idea of interconnected or like interwoven sort of like universe. And like, can we bring some of that back? And so this was his next pass. Very quick, turn the stuff around. It felt like he was enjoying the process, which is awesome, because I love it when an artist just wants to build something. It's the same reason that, like, I want to build something. It's because it makes you happy, and it's doing cool work. So where it ended up was something like this. And this is where the references got off course. So I had this, corpo aesthetic, and what I should have done, I should have removed it. I was thinking about like, clashing ideals, and and because of that, you got this, more like Admiral, these hard lines, and it still feels very different than something that you're seeing in other space games. But my feedback was at this point is like, okay, how do we make it more organic? And I sent him another little write up. It was like, okay, you are, as the captain, you are this um, elder blood sort of creature, like you kind of like descended into Fey folk, and you're pushing back against this corporate structure. He was like, okay, roger that. More organic elements, and uh, we mentioned, bringing back the earring, and the way that I described the color work, the was also like cool tones with surprising contrasts, and I was really satisfied with. So we move it forward. So it takes the hard lines that were like, very Admiral like, makes it way organic. Um, this blue is like there's no reason to have this blue here. Uh, it is a surprising highlight. I was like, yeah, awesome. Like it works. So I mean, you can say like, oh, it's a personal shield or whatever. Like you can rationalize it, but it's just like, this is so exciting to me because it's different. I wouldn't have expected it. And there's, some of that blue under here too, and it's so freaking cool. I love it. This is like, okay, so getting art is like Christmas for me. It is. I'd like to build things in part because I get to get to see the cool art, and this is like where my fan fiction is. Like I send over like, this is the character that I want, and then it's like having an artist like do do your OC, but really it's their OC. Um, but yeah, and the cover, or the helmet was hard, and which is a really cool aesthetic as well. But you really wanted to do like a visor situation, and so this is what he came up with, and you have these like awesome lines here, this sort of filigree as the mask peels away, which is awesome. Love that so much. And there's this uh like the eyes being set like illuminated blue, I think is just you know points to some of those sci-fi elements, and the pattern work is just, there's a directionality of everything that is coming like as if the character was moving, right? So they're moving forward, not just like sitting there stagnant, because everything in their body is moving that direction. I love it. So I was very satisfied with this work. It was they're really killing it. Henry asks, has he done stuff in this style before? I don't think so. So one of the things that one of the cautions that I sent over was like, hey, if this is the style, this is the aesthetic that I want. If this is too far out of left field, just let me know. And I think that this was, I don't want to speak out of turn, but it seemed like it was new for him, and it seemed like he really enjoyed it. So just the whole thing is freaking awesome. Molotov says that it's Space Wrel, which if you cake on the eyeliner, maybe you got this like high school emo situation going there. Very androgynous, the face, so you can project yourself onto that. It's really cool. I loved the choices that were being made, like the tassels here too, clipped onto the armor, and just this like it almost feels like Arthurian, but it's like this bramble and this slightly intertwined, and sometimes it goes underneath the layered stretch of cloth, and sometimes it goes over it. So good, so good. All right, what else? What else we got? Oh, I missed a question earlier. Meme Bomb says, I never played a solo TTRPG. Is it on the computer? So no. This is well, there will be a PDF that you can purchase, download, and I'll make fillable versions of the character sheet, so you can like type stuff into the PDF. But it is meant to sit down, have the guidebook with you, and then you're reading through the pages, you're coming up with situations, and then you will be working through those outcomes either in your head, but also taking stock of your logging your adventures in a sort of like a captain's log fashion. So like on this day, these are the important things that happened, and we just do that highlighted. And there's also a need for 2d6. So a lot of the game is 1d6 or 2d6. All right. Yeah, that's what I got. I think that's it. Are we gonna cut this stream short? Maybe. Yeah, let me go back to my big dumb face, so I can avoid doxing myself again. What else we got going on? Wanted to also show. Oh, here. Let me show some of the book stuff that I have currently, so we can kind of talk through it, give you a better example. I chose some pages to talk through things. So I'm like hesitant to share this because layout is not finished, not even close. Like I'm still like even on the font level, like I'm still tinkering with fonts. A lot of the design is still being hammered out because I like a lot of the things that are being done, and there's also some like elements that aren't like gelling correctly in certain areas, and there's like a heavy focus on trying to get that to gel, because I don't want to throw a bunch of tables at you and say like, hey, figure this out. It's fun for a lot of people, but for me, with the short the limited page count, I want to make sure that the book is doing the heavy lifting, and also kind of like spelling things out for you so that you can spend your creative energy elaborating on like taking that nugget of information and expanding it into something that feels greater. So I want you to be the force multiplier to the book. I don't want you to be like doing the book's job. So because of that, there's like some design considerations that I'm working through. Let's see. Is there a public demo up to give it a try? No. There's a bunch of that old stuff, but it is way outdated now. I am gonna work on getting something pieced together that like you could play through the prologue right now, but also that'd be like major spoilers. I have a whole prologue done up for this. It teaches you how to play the game. It also it works like it's introducing you to the elements. It feels very tutorial like. That's the point. But I need to come up with something that's a smaller scope, but still has the essence. And I'm just so hesitant to ruin the stuff, like give you spoilers. Meme Bomb says, I think you could turn it into a digital game too. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. So the funny thing about that is that I was, prior to working on this zine, I was working on a game in Unreal that was akin to that. Like it would be closest to like a visual novel, but more interaction basically. Henry says something that's not even part of the main story or something. Yeah, I can do that. I think what I'll end up doing is I'll probably do like a preview where maybe it's you and one other character. Like you get the navigator in the prologue. It's like, his name is Wheeler. Actually, it's not even necessarily a him. It could be whatever you want it to be. And maybe it'll be just like doing some missions. The character, actually, okay, sorry, I'm doing a lot of talking. Let me jump to like some character create, and then I'll show you from there kind of some of the stuff that is going on. And I did pull out some pages from the prologue to like walk through some things, but I don't know. Again, I'm like kind of hesitant to show this, but we shall see. Let's do. Let me get this. here. Oop. Does it kind of work? Okay, so this is the temporary character sheet for the captain. So the captain's sheet also has like all the like your crew roster, but the crew also has individual like a bookmark worth of information as well. And then you have your ship cabins that can all take damage and blah blah blah. So there's just like a lot of entries here, and the reason for it is because most of this game works on words, phrases actually. So all these resources are anytime that you see a table that has like 2 to 12, it's a 2d6 table. So you roll 2d6 on it. And the math matters because entries that are near the middle are going to be chosen more often than entries that are at the outskirts. And then like at the start of each day, you'll roll in this resource pool, and then you'll be able to add it to your decorations or your deviations. Let's see. Yeah, how much of this should I talk through? Okay, well, here's the gist of it. So that's the captain's character sheet. And then this is one for 2 crew members, just as an example. And their information is, so let's just go from the top. So like put the name up here, their job, so they'll be like navigator, engineer, medical, or doctor, security, blah, 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 quartermaster. Their species, and then just like something quirky about them. This cabin and ability part here is like, okay, what's their home cabin? Which one are they assigned to, basically? And what's the one cool thing that can help you that no other character is going to be able to help you with? That part, I don't think I need. I've been back and forth over it because everything that they give you that you can make use of is through these decorations and deviations, which are the shorthand for this is just these are the resources that you've pulled out of the pool, and some of them are good. Some of them you're like ashamed to use. They're just tinged with like guilt. So for example, somebody who's trying to leave their old life behind may have been a pickpocket. They're good at it. It is a skill that they have, but they might, it might make other people uncomfortable when they're using it. So that is, and then using it, like, get to reroll because you're better at it. But it's going to generate discontent. And discontent, if you get too much, crew member leaves the party, ruins your game basically. So managing discontent is like a thing that you do. Loyalty, for example. So every crew member has a list of demands that you learn about them. So one of the demands early on, the one that you're delivered it to, or that's given to you in the prologue, is the one for Wheeler. And the demand is just to go to like another place, to arrive at a new system within the galaxy. And then once you fill that, you'll get the loyalty for them. And then there's a page number that's associated here in this little baby box. And then you'll go to that page number, and then you'll have the scene, like a cut scene with them. And then it's dialogue that you'll be able to learn a bit more about that character. It'll give you a subsection of their story. Sometimes it'll give you an assignment, like, hey, we need to go here, do this thing. But it'll at the very least give you another demand, so that the next chapter of the campaign, you can execute on that demand, and it'll further their story, and then you'll go to another page, have another cutscene. So you do this you have a bunch of crew members that you're assigned to the ship, and they all have their own stories. They all have their own quirks. They all have their own trauma that you're trying to sort through. For Mass Effect 2 is like, everybody has daddy issues, daddy or mommy issues. In this, I think it's a little bit different, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of that. Heat is the shorthand for romantic interest. So as so in conversations with them, you'll actually learn triggers for things that to turn on or to turn off. So they can heat up or cool down, and then eventually you'll be able to lock down that relationship. In a similar fashion to as you would in like a Mass Effect game. and we pace it similarly too. So as you're going through the campaign, you are also you're restricted in how much loyalty you can earn with somebody, so you can't just like do all the things for them. Um, it's paced by campaign. So, and the reason for it is because it's meant to build like tension. It's meant to also interact with the campaign. So, like the reason that I have these problems is in part due to these people who are kind of douchey and ruining the world or ruining the universe. So you're interweaving those storylines with the campaign itself to give it more meaning. And so you'll go heat. Unlike loyalty, heat can increase and decrease. So if you are engaging in undesirable behaviors, it will make you less desirable as an individual, as far as the romantic interest is concerned. And so you have to work for it. And you're probably not going to be able to please everybody all the time. You can probably please some of the people all the time. Yeah, so you'll work through your heat, and then once you're up to the maximum, and then just the heat can never outpace your loyalty. So again, this is that pacing. And discontent is fun because it gives you excuses not to use the same characters over and over and over. And that's one of the main like push and pull, is that you'll be generating discontent because your crew members can do wicked dope stuff that are going to be super helpful, but it's also probably associated with part of their past that they are trying to get rid of, that they don't want other people seeing because maybe they're like a wanted, for whatever, powers that they have access to. And like, yeah, they can do this, but it's going to draw unnecessary attention. So that discontent increases, and they need downtime to work it off. So you leave them on the ship. You say, hey, you can relax, maybe we'll go see a movie or something. And then you can work down that discontent. And so you're trying to, it's a little bit of management. In a lot of games, you're managing the health and ammunition or whatever, like the ship, I guess, your upgrades and that sort of thing. But I wanted to try to keep the focus more on the crewmates and their needs and your interactions with them, because ultimately they're the things that make the story interesting. So, let's see. Devious. Lucidius also. Devious says, come to like and wave. Oh, you're at work. Cool. Got your pledge in. Hey, thanks. Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely get you a pin. Let's see. Cool. Glad everybody is digging it so far. And yeah, and you'll have like 6 crew members. And let's see. Okay. Should we keep going forward? Could talk a little bit about the actual like execution of the game proper. Henry says like that's the basic thing to automatically write down when you doodle something, hit points, damage, etc., etc. Yeah. I've been consciously trying to avoid that because it's the default. Yeah, it's there's something to be said about the simplicity of make number go up and down. It's easy to understand. You can kind of project your own context on it, and I think it's like it works for a lot of games, for the vast majority of games that we play. But I want people to do a little bit more thinking, I guess, in how they approach problems, and instead of just like, okay, how much damage can I take? So a little bit of push and pull. Let's see. I'm gonna move over to, let's go to character create. Is that gonna be spoilery? Nah, it'd be fine. Okay, let's go to character create. So this is all work in progress. That's the caveat. If you played Distal, the character create is wicked dope in Distal. I think it could use a little refinement, but there are some similar threads in that we're trying to tell you a story, or rather help you gather who your character is up to this point in the story. So up to the point where you get your ship, you start that first scene, and the way that we do that is by moving through this process here. So it says before all this, so you're going to write this in your backstory. It says before all this, I was a roll 1d6, some backorder flight jockey. You don't actually have to roll 1d6. And then the resource that you get is this flight experience. So what you would do is you would go to, not that one, this one. You would go to your resource pool and then write that down. So if you say like flight experience, that would be a resource that you can use whenever you pull it. So that would be if it's in the top. So 2 through 6 is considered a decoration. So it is a group of resources that you feel like you can use anytime. There's no like guilt involved. And then 12 through 8 are deviations. So these are the ones that are kind of like the shadow side of your character. And you get to choose where these go. And then 7 is a toss-up. Anytime you pull 7, it could be one or the other. It's totally up to you. And so every time that you wake up in the morning, you roll 2d6 and then see what resource you're adding to the pool. Sometimes it's going to be a decoration. Sometimes it's going to be a deviation. Sometimes, most commonly, it'll be this number 7. So it's somewhere in between. So this also gives you a little bit of insight into how your character feels about the abilities that they have. And then all the crewmates have these sorts of things. Let me go back, pull the character create open again. Veritubak says, I greatly enjoyed the character creation. Just still looking forward to what we can do in Gossamer. Got my play done. Hey, thanks. Awesome. Yeah, it's going to certainly less robust. This is a small game comparatively. And all of the characters, the crew members that you recruit, are essentially extensions of your capabilities, like as a player. And because of that, got to be really careful with like how much stuff you're juggling at any given time. But I think if Gossamer ever turned into like a full 300-page multiplayer, like you play one character and this is what makes them awesome, we could do some really dope things, it'd be awesome. Okay, I'm sorry, like I like a lot of things about this world that I'm still in the process of building, and it'd be dope as a traditional RPG. Anyway, what were we talking about? Okay, so characters. So before all this, I was a courier to a cartel, and then this is the resource that I get with the stigma of a criminal, or maybe with a family that cast me out. That changed when someone died because of me. And again, these resources that you get are just like abstract phrases, because when you butt up against a situation, a scene, you interpret how this resource can help you. So if you get shot, you're frankly hard to kill. Like maybe you got shot, but it's only a flesh wound. Or maybe that's how you like survive the scene. Or maybe it's just like, okay, you're good at surviving, so you don't get shot. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. So that's the first part. This is your first three resources, and that's also part of your story. So we're going to choose a species separately. So you are Elder Blood. You're oppressed by the Judica, like so many others. Choose the species, and then you roll 2 resources from their table. So we already covered the species earlier in this in the live stream. You have the Authora, you have the Forebear, you have the Huntsman, you have the Naiad, you have the Paka, you have Weavers. And each of them are meant to kind of like there's something jacked up about them. Either like something that follows them, like a darkness, or maybe like an uncertainty, or like something about their culture that's disappearing. Like there's always this side, even like the Weavers. I was very light touch with their description, but it says bearing arachnid features. And in the prologue, spoilers, it mentions that that a Weaver, like that most people just don't deal with Weavers because arachnophobia is like a thing. so they get the short end of the stick. Anyway, so we'll roll on if you so you can choose your species, but as an option you may also roll them because some people just like come seeing what happens. Um, so if we were playing like a Paka, they have this ability to steal your warmth. So they're burly, long-limbed trolls known to steal warmth through contact, and that's like this symbol means that it is a curse. So you can use it; it is very powerful, but somebody suffers consequences. And then the rest of this little pentacle icon is folk magic. So, for example, they can hex you with misfortune if you roll happen to get that. A naiad has like a limited charm ability. A Thora have like a feat of strength. The forebear can basically cast visage on themselves and just change their how they look. They can also conjure starlight and they can levitate a little bit. You have the huntsmen who are just they're cursed with this like sudden transformation. And yeah, so we can like roll up 2 of those. If you want to be like more of a human, but like a spicy human, then you spicy human, human that is interesting. It's Athora or it's huntsman. So the werewolves or the people who are the Highlander like demigods. Okay, so so you pull 2 of those resources. So now we're up to 5. Now this one, it's going to continue on with your story, but there's a bunch of tables, and a little bit annoying to roll in these tables, but you can pick any 3 tables below, and then you're going to roll 2 resources from each table. So 6 plus 5 is 11, and that's your 2d6 table. So you can choose nobility, and you get something like the laws don't apply. So if you get a resource where you can throw your weight around as nobility, like, or a scene rather that you can throw your weight around as nobility, that would be a really helpful one to have. And hold on, I'm taking a quick break. Let's see. Molotov says, I could totally use this or see this as a group RPG. Definitely has that feel. Recruit your friends, form a crew, go on an adventure. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I think that you could give... So there's a lot of good comparisons for that too. Like you have Star Trek games where each member is a part of, like a different department. And there's a lot of good examples that you can pull from where like they have a unique capability to man that part of the ship or to leverage their distinct capabilities to help with the mission and other ways. So I totally agree. Like other games can do it. I think that this one could be one too. So you would choose 3 of these tables. Like witchcraft has a lot of folk magic, so you can seek guidance or you can dream the future or ward the threshold. But you don't know necessarily what you're going to roll on these tables, and it's your game. You can do whatever you want. You can like choose the stuff that makes you happy, but this gives you the capability to kind of come up with a character that has a wide scope. And then we kind of give it a little bit of context. So this is the last phrase that you add to your backstory. It says my first, so whatever first table that we pick, say it's witchcraft. So my witchcraft got me in trouble. My nobility got me noticed, and my deal making maybe got me hired. Then opera gave me a ship and a second chance. So that's your backstory. And then through the game, as you play the game, the intention, I'm still kind of like working through this. The intention is that you're learning more about your character by doing some like reflection and self-analysis, because the phylactery, the magic engine on your ship that is both haunting and really powerful, is like pulling truths out of you that you need to figure out as the player, and then hopefully compel you to kind of like just add a little bit of add more story threads to this adventure that you're writing, and then there's some decisions to be made and that sort of thing. Multiplayer GMless games would be neat, but that's a hard niche. Yeah, I wonder if it is. I think that somebody could probably come up with a good GMless multiplayer system where everybody kind of contributes to the story and everybody's kind of like on the same page, and you're just like rolling on tables to figure out situations. I don't know. Anyway, we make these games for people to have fun, not necessarily how many people have fun. So if it's a cool idea, you could probably swing it. Let's see. Henry says the folk magic and curses are the only two types. There's also a dire power that you get. This is, if you're comparing it to Baldur's Gate 3, this is the Illithid, which is also coming from the phylactery. I'm not committed to it yet, but it is something that, like, once you use a power, the power is very, very like reality shifting. And as a consequence, it moves the campaign timeline up a story, or like up a beat. So it's got like a really powerful downside because it gives you less time the more that you use it, but it also lets you like power through things. So I don't know. I don't actually know if I want that to be the case. It's stubbed in right now. I think that's an interesting idea. The problem that I was trying to solve is like, okay, what makes the character, the captain, uniquely qualified to fill this role? And a lot of it could be this. A lot of it could be just the ability to get people to work together. But I was playing with that, like, okay, what's the actual like extra power? There's something that you can't really quantify. And I think that I don't know that I need the powers. I think that your connection to the phylactery is what actually is what matters. Like the phylactery says, like, okay, we have an accord for X, Y, and Z reason. And I think that's the thing that really like ties you to this whole story. Just considering because both symbols are blue and circular in this thing. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that might be. Yeah, one's like an eye, but unless you're like zoomed in, you're not going to see that. So I could use like a triangle. I have access to a triangle shape that also looks kind of interesting. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, change for more legibility. That's good feedback, for sure. Cool. I think that so we made it through an hour of talking about this game, and I think that I'm gonna close it out. So Gossamer Frontier, it's available, and you can check it out. I'm gonna go back to my stupid face cam. Close down my stuff. Try not to dox myself. And oh, nice! Wow, got a whole bunch of people on board. Gonna show my desktop. It's right here. Got a little back of train, little backy back. Excellent. Thank you so much for pledging to the project and just for hanging out on the stream. I'm going to try to keep people updated as the game continues to develop and as I get to have awesome art to show off. It's like my favorite thing in the world. Oh, now we got me looking at myself. And that's it. So thanks very much for hanging out. Oh, next stream, I think Wednesday. Not this Wednesday. What day is it? Not this Wednesday, but next week, Wednesday. Going to try to get another stream in, and then the week to follow on the Wednesday, and then a final stream like at the end of the month when we're like closing down the campaign. So thanks for hanging out, and we'll catch y'all